Hello, everyone. Welcome to this episode of SpeedTalk, episode 9, behind the scenes of Mario Odyssey's Kaizo Mode. Today I'm joined by RedSlay and SMOjoycon. If you guys want to introduce yourselves, go ahead.
You take the floor, Mr. RedSlay.
Yo, I'm RedSlay9, one of the makers of Kaizo Mode. I've
And
been playing Odyssey for a while. I don't know what else to say that's relevant. You go on, Joycon.
okay, I'll take the floor now. I'm SMOjoycon. I'm the other co-creator of Kaizo Mode. I have played Odyssey and done not really much significant, but I've gotten somewhat okay at a bunch of random stuff that doesn't really matter. But then I made this, so I became prevalent.
Yeah, so most of this episode, obviously, we're probably just going to talk about Kaizo Mode, especially since I obviously have quite a big passion for the mod itself as well. But then kind of in the middle, before we do fan questions, which we got a lot of, but almost all of them were troll questions, we'll talk a little bit more about like the other stuff like MCMM and everything else, I guess, that you guys do, whatever it is. So yeah, starting with Kaizo Mode, for anyone who doesn't know, a few months ago, I believe in late July, you guys can let me know the exact date if you know it off the top of your head.
Is it July 22nd?
It's 23rd if you're in the UK or America, 22nd if you're in Australia.
24th,
Yeah.
It works the other way around.
Sounds about right. But yeah, Kaizo Mode came out, and Kaizo, for anyone that doesn't know, means rearrange. Basically, it's in video gaming, it basically means extremely, extremely hard. So they made Odyssey like 10 times harder, especially certain parts in like post game and stuff, and some of the late game stuff. And it's a really cool mod, probably the best mod Odyssey's ever seen, as I think a lot of people would agree with me there. So yeah, I just want to, I guess, start off with the process of making Kaizo Mode, how long it took you guys, how you went about making it collaboratively, and yeah.
I mean, in terms of how long it took us, the answer we've kind of been going with is 500 hours over the span of about 15 months. I want to say we started working on this around April of 2023.
Yeah, that sounds right.
And yeah, and then it's been a very on and off process. I more so than RedSlay especially would do like 8 hours a day, 3 day like full weekends, for 3 weeks, and then I'd be like, okay, I don't want to do it anymore for like a month and a half. Whereas I think RedSlay was a bit more consistent with just doing a bit every now and again, just working through it.
Yeah, I mean, a little bit more. I was still like that, but just a bit less so.
That's really quick. 15 months is like not that long for something this big, I feel like.
It was weird because I don't know if we ever really anticipated making a full Kaizo like hack, all 880 moons at the start. We'd been playing a lot of Mario Maker and just making terrible levels for each other. Just like the worst level you could ever play. And it was like, oh, well, we found this way we could do it in Odyssey, so let's just mess around with the editing tools. And then we were just kind of going through, like, RedSlay was doing Cap Kingdom, I was working on a few sub areas, just kind of trying to see what we could do. And then all of a sudden we're like 200 moons deep, and I'm like, I guess we're doing the entire thing now.
Yeah. Mario Maker is always the start of everything Kaizo, I feel like. It's just...
Yeah, it's definitely...
Yeah.
It's an easy way to, like, dip your toes in, I guess, because it's so accessible. Whereas, like, when you're just fronted with the modding tools, which are... I appreciate them, but the modding tools are quite complicated and a little bit janky. They're the best we've got, so I can't fault them at all. But they're not the easiest to get started with.
Yeah,
so
they're quite finicky and just a bit strange.
Yeah.
They have a tendency to crash fairly often.
Yeah, I remember before even starting to make Kaizo Mode, I tried to download the editor and like make something like, I think like over a year before Kaizo Mode I tried it and I just couldn't set it off because for whatever reason things didn't work.
How how does Odyssey modding like exactly work with like the creation of it? I guess like I assume it's like some sort of app, um, but I have no idea what it looks like, to be honest. In the most English way possible, how do you describe that?
So there's the main editing software called Spotlight, which is pretty like it lets you view the levels, add objects, delete things, do all that. It's the main thing for like all of it. That's how like 99% of it was made. But there is more software needed if you want to do things like editing the cameras so they point a different way or editing text. For that, you'll need Switch Toolbox, which basically lets you view any file you'll find in Odyssey and like mess around with it. Although then, even further, there's more like softwares you need for just some like very specific file types just to edit those.
Yeah, makes sense. Where did you guys like start out with? Like, what's the first thing you worked on, and like what kind of was towards the end of the process, I guess?
I mean, for me, I had the big issue of my laptop is terrible. I did this entire thing on a trackpad. And like my laptop couldn't load Metro Kingdom, Bowser's Kingdom, like those really big ones. So I started working through a lot of the sub areas and a lot of the simpler ones. So, Spinning Tower, the sub area in Bowser's Kingdom that's locked by the ogre, where I literally just deleted a Pokio and moved the key. I started with those and then slowly started adding on to, the things I could do, adding objects as I kind of figured out one step at a time. You can kind of tell, like, if you can see that it's the first ones we made, like Hexagon Tower, the moon pipe in Bowser's, because there is just a horribly uncentered block from when I didn't know, like, how to control the editor very well. And then, yeah, RedSlay, you can say what you started with.
Yeah, I started with like editing like Cap Kingdom Overworld and Cascade Overworld. And like I was just trying things. They were all very like simple changes, like just copy paste some danger signs, just put a bunch of them about. Like nothing too complicated, because at that point it was just about kind of learning how to use the editor.
Yeah, I think that makes sense. Did you kind of go chronologically, I guess, for like the whole creation, or did you like run into any problems and like skip a kingdom and go back to it later?
For the start, we were
I think the
planning on going chronologically, but then Sand Kingdom happened. And we could go on for hours about Spotlight and how it's funny and loves to save things exactly how they were originally made. But then, yeah, so we were going in chronological order until about there, and then Joy-Con just kind of did whatever kingdoms he wanted.
Yeah, I think I did actually do Lake, skip Sand, but then I really wanted to do Luncheon because Luncheon is if you've played the mod, people will know that when you get towards the All Moon stage of Luncheon, it's just diabolical. It is despicable. It's got some strange moons in it, and I was really looking forward to. I have a lot of niche knowledge things about Luncheon from just all the low percent challenge runs I've done, because for some reason all the hardest moons are in Luncheon, so I really wanted to go do that. And then on top of Sand Kingdom not working, it was kind of like, yeah, it doesn't really matter if we go chronologically or not. And then with sub areas, I just did whichever ones I had ideas for, which you can kind of tell because there's like a difficulty curving with the main kingdoms, but the sub areas, it was just like, nope, idea, do this.
Yeah. I mean, that makes sense too. I think sub areas in the game are just kind of like that too. A lot of them, like some of the sub areas are like harder in like Sand than they'll be in like Luncheon occasionally.
Yeah, that happens.
Makes sense. Yeah. With the difficulty curve, like, what was kind of the idea behind that? Obviously, we want things to get harder as they go, but like, there's also obviously some moons that are very easy and some that are very hard. I imagine like the ones that are kind of open in the game, like you just had to move somewhere else open and you couldn't really turn it into like a ground pound moon or something like that, if I were to guess.
Yeah, the general like thought process was like if a moon is just open, just a moon that's always spawned, it should stay that way. If there's a ground pound moon, it should stay a ground pound moon. And for about like 875 moons, that's how it is. Although then by the end, there were a few like hat and seek moons that broke, that got turned into other types of moons. Stuff
Was
like that.
that
But
because of like a limitation, or just because you wanted it to like stay consistent, I guess, with like ground pound moons and hat spin
well,
moons
it
and those
was
types of
mainly just because we didn't know how to like change it.
Yeah,
And I only
At the
figured out
start,
how to close to the end of the mod once I started working on Dark and Darker.
that makes sense. Yeah, that's kind of what I assumed because I feel like there's a like you can kind of tell like a lot of the open moons just got moved to different open spots, and then the ground pound moons are
Yeah,
moved.
yeah.
It's I
yeah,
think it's nicer that way though because the Toadette achievements work the same way
Yeah.
that they
yeah.
do in the regular game then. So
For the most part.
yeah,
Yeah, there's a couple janky things, but overall, because it's like matched, it doesn't actually look, oh, did they ground pound to get this moon? It literally just goes, if they have moon 34 in Sand Kingdom, that corresponds to this Toadette achievement. So
oh
like
really?
the
Yeah.
Hat and Seek in the People's Room, which is in our mod a ground pound moon, but is counted as a Hat and Seek moon, that goes to the Hat and Seek counter on Toadette and not the ground pound
Yeah.
counter on Toadette.
You guys did a very good job making sure that they all kind of count then, because when I was routing Kaizo Darker, I didn't really run into any difficulties with like counting the moons and Toadette. Like all of them pretty much
Oh.
worked the way that they were supposed to, so that was good. Like the counting kind of aligned with the actual count for
I'm actually
Toadette
quite surprised
usually.
by
So
that.
yeah, that worked out
Good
really
fortune.
nicely. For Kaizo Darker, Kaizo Darker routing was tough.
Yeah, routing anything is so tough, and
Yeah,
never mind something that is not only blank slate, but then also the game, like the mod itself, hasn't really been explored yet. Because at this point, there's like Buster and Gorg with all moons, and no one else is even like getting that close to Darker. So it was
yeah.
very like impressive and great dedication to
Yeah.
get that stuff out.
How many people total have all moons now? Is it 10 or something
I
like
think
that?
10. Well,
Yeah,
it's
just
9 plus
recently
me.
we got 10.
Okay.
I made
Well, I
like an
think you count.
announcement for it
Yeah.
in the Kaiser server with the list of everyone who's done it.
Yeah, that's pretty sick. Yeah, 10's a lot. I hope to beat it eventually once I'm done with speedrunning it. I want to casually
When we were
complete
like
everything, but yeah.
when we were making it, I did not expect. I thought the only two people that would get it, 880, would be Gorgonim and Burt Miller, because I didn't think people would care enough outside of our friendship group. And then I thought the people who could get it would just not be that high. I figured that stuff like Luncheon Notes, the really 4 minute long Moon in Luncheon, and a couple others like the massive climb in Bowser's Kingdom and Ruin Kingdom, I thought that would trip up a lot of people towards getting 880. I was very surprised when I saw people who I wasn't expecting to play the mod get that far. Like, I always knew that Gorgon was obviously going to play it, but then when like Buster was playing it and Dangers was playing it, it was kind of like, whoa, how do we even know about this mod? Never mind,
Yeah. I think
doing
I
880.
I think I'm a main reason Buster knew about it. I'm sure he would have found out about it otherwise, but I was like, bro, we gotta play this mod when it comes out. And as soon as like I knew he was gonna do a casual playthrough, I was like, okay, yeah, he's definitely getting all moons because once he like starts grinding something, he always like gets addicted to it
Yeah.
immediately. So it makes sense to me. But there's definitely like some people that I was not expecting to like get like all moons. Like I didn't think. No offense, Bella. I did not think you were good enough. Um,
Oh, shots fired.
there's just like there's I feel like the mod has definitely pushed some people to like their skill limits and like it really improved a lot of people at the game. So that's pretty cool to see.
Yeah, I wasn't expecting people to persevere as much as they were. Like, I figured it was just going to be a mod where it's like, oh, I'm a bit bored during like summer. I'm going to play until, I find something hard, and once I've done everything that I can't do reasonably easily, I'll toss it aside. But people have been willing to spend like hours and hours, like Gorgonim spending 16 hours on Bound Bowl, people spending 30 plus hours on Darker Side, like stuff like that. I was not expecting people to sink in that much time. Even like Sudai spending 13 hours on Ruined is like, that's not a level of commitment I expected to see from anyone, never mind multiple people.
Yeah, it was really cool to see like Sudai and like even like some casual people. Like I've seen like some just random people I've never seen before on Twitch like playing the mod, and I just like went into their chat and like helped them out a bit where I could, because some of them were like spending literally like so much time on like festival ruin climb. Like people that like barely beat the game casually were doing the mod, and I was like impressed because they would get to like lunch and one and stuff and be really happy. I'm
Yeah.
not sure if any of them will get past ruined, but it is really cool to see like some of them, like some people like that just that don't have much game experience just get really far in the mod for sure. It's pretty awesome.
Yeah, it's been mind-blowing to see like how many people have played the mod. Like we were not expecting more than like 10 downloads.
Yeah. I mean, it makes sense. It is like the first like mod like this, but it was really cool seeing like how quickly like it kind of blew up, especially with like Small Ant playing it like day one, I think, or CJ.
Yeah, I
He
mean
was
it
one
was
of those
like
people.
like 30 hours after the mod came out, Small Ant was playing it. It was insane.
Yeah, I was surprised he like found out about it that quickly. Like it was it's pretty cool.
Yeah.
It, so during my current any percent PB, I believe, is when RedSlay got a DM from CJ about the mod, which was like when Trailer 2 came out, and it's hilarious because I'm in Ruined when RedSlay finds out, going into Bowser's, notoriously bad at Bowser's Kingdom, so I'm getting a little bit nervous, and RedSlay just comes in my chat and is like, check DMs, and suddenly the nerve spike just goes up and like multiplies significantly as I'm trying to like double information process. Double inf- information process times two? I don't know. Grammar.
Yeah,
But you
that's the
know,
one.
it was it was pretty chaotic to say the least when because no matter like what you think or feel about any of those big streamers, whether you like them or not, it is just so huge for us getting the community and like wider communities to see the mod, like showing it off to 3,000 viewers and then like 1.6 mil on YouTube. Like it's
Yeah.
just great to have the kind of word spread out
Yeah,
so
absolutely.
vastly.
Even if like you don't like any of those big streamers, like it's or you don't watch them, like it's still like most of those people that I mentioned that like are casual players who've been playing the mod most likely found out about it from those streamers. So it's like it's really cool to see um just like how big of a reach it gets because of that. Uh so yeah, it's really cool. It's a really good mod. Um
Thank you, I
and
appreciate
I'll
it.
put the download link as well for anyone watching that was interested in it. I'll put the download link in the description of this video for anyone else that wants to try it. You do have to like hack your Switch and stuff too, though. For Switch is complicated in my opinion, but a lot of
Yeah.
people will tell you it's really easy.
Yeah,
So
good fun.
It's
yeah,
tricky, and me and RedSlay have no idea. It's funny because a lot of people ask us for help, and me and RedSlay know so little about it. It's very funny.
Yeah.
Um, we literally just copy Gorgonim's SD card, and then they'll come to us and be like, "I have a very specific problem," and I feel very bad because I do want to help them, but it's like I just don't know.
yeah. That's
Yeah.
what it is for me, dude. I feel like I've encountered like the weirdest Switch hacking problems like ever. Like right now my current problem is every time I open the game, there's these messages that take like 5-6 seconds, which lost me like 10 seconds total in Kaizo Darker runs, which isn't that
Oh
much
yeah,
in a 5 hour run, but like still.
it's just
Um,
like a bit infuriating.
yeah, and it also made it so that the new Kaizo any percent route that I came up with today for sand, I think is probably not going to be that viable for me. But if it wasn't for that, it might be a little bit more viable because I'd have like 6 more seconds of leeway. Um,
Oh yeah.
Technically, it's viable either way. Basically, you do like the employees only moon before Rumble, and then you plant the seed. I mean, technically, it'd be viable for me with like a 50-second offset for 152, but I'm not doing that, so I'm just
Yeah, fair enough.
yeah. I barely can make it work with a 153 offset, but I don't think it's going to be consistent enough to where I can like implement that because you have to get the spin throw clip like first try pretty much. Um, so
Yeah,
yeah,
that spin throw
Good
clip
fun.
sucks. I've tried it. It is not a fun
yeah,
time.
it can be. I got like somewhat consistent at it, and I think I am going to show it off at pace just because I think the route's a lot cooler, and it's also like pretty similar in length. And I found a way to do I could just do employees after bird before slots. Um, so that doesn't mess with the SCA. But yeah, in terms of actual runs, I don't think it's going to be viable because it's just a little bit too hard. It has been really fun though, like speedrunning it. Before the mod came out, I knew that it was something that I kind of wanted to do because, like, you know, I never got to like be there like to route stuff like right when something dropped. So I feel like that was a fun experience, just routing essentially like a whole new game kind of, but very familiar with the game that I'd already run. So that was a lot of fun.
Yeah, that
Yeah.
sounds
It was really cool.
Yeah,
It was really cool watching people route it and just like everyone within like 2 days, everyone was like, "Yeah, we're gonna get this 80% route down."
Yeah, I had a deadline for fall pace for viewers
Oh
watching.
yeah, I remember that.
As you know, I had the deadline for submissions. It was the 31st, like the very, very end of July. And I kept DMing you guys. I was like, is this going to come out soon? Is this going to come out soon? I really need to route this and get it like a decent run by the end of the month. And then it did come out, thank God. I honestly thought that I wasn't going to on time. But when it did, I was so relieved. It was like, it's awesome.
We should detail that, like, the 48-hour period, or like 24-hour period right before Kaizo Mode comes out was the most stressful, chaotic, and just insane 24 hours. Yeah. And I mean, RedSlay, you can probably explain it pretty well because I was at uni half the time that this was happening and just checking my phone periodically, seeing like the up-down roller coaster of what RedSlay was working on.
Yeah, I was just skipping school. I was meant to be in school, and I was like, "Nah, I'm working on Kaizo Mode. School can wait."
That's huge. That was helpful because honestly, like, I barely got like I got like a 128, I think. I want to say my pace submission was the 128. Which is really funny that pace submission got record and then everyone started using it as a reference because like I think that's what Anto and Lucid used as their references, and it's just like a pace submission video. It's just me like explaining every trick and just like with my face cam on. It's so stupid that people were using that as a reference, but it was really funny. You can literally just see parts of that video in Anto's video of his like quest to get record, which is a really good video. Yeah, I really liked that because I was basically like I was basically the antagonist of the video, so that was pretty sick. But like he just like kept showing like my pace submission video with like my face cam on, and I was just like, oh no. But yeah, that was a lot of fun. Routing that like the first couple days, I basically just like made Placid an intro and everyone helped, and it was a very fun experience because Placid just kept sending like videos of how to get every moon, and I just had to spoil myself for like everything in the mod. But that's fine. I'm not a huge casual playthrough guy anyway, so.
Because Placid went like really far ahead in moon count, didn't he? Because he didn't. Yeah. While Gorg was like doing darker and stuff.
Yeah. Placid got like almost all the moons before post game, so that was really helpful for routing. Because like he would just like give me a list of like every moon available and like send videos, and then I would work on like routing those together. And that was a lot of fun. I did come up with some new routes today. Only like some minor ones, but like a lost route, a metro route, and I'm still trying to find something with that luncheon like clip.
Luncheon always, I feel like it's with every category. Luncheon always just feels like it has something else you can do. It's just always slightly like not clicking.
Like I like the current route, but there's definitely a lot of reroute potential in Luncheon, more so than most kingdoms, I think. So yeah, I might look into that soon for the pace run, but that'll be fun. So what are your guys' like what is like, in your opinion, the hardest parts of Kaizo Mode and your favorite parts of Kaizo Mode? If RedSlay wants to go first. Yeah.
Well, the hardest part. I mean, Joycon made a lot of the like hardest moons. But I feel like I had like a filter when I was making moons. I was like, this is unreasonable. Joycon didn't have that. He just made things. And that's how we ended up with Luncheon Kingdom. So it's probably just all of Luncheon Kingdom. That's the hardest part. And of course, the extra moons in Durka.
I'm least excited for Bound Bowl and Snow, Class S. That's the one that
that one got out of hand quickly.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I
in
yeah.
the original version of the mod, I'm pretty sure you needed to be like a second faster than world record to get that moon,
How
which
like
was
how
a
is
bit
anyone
too
doing
hard.
that? Yeah,
But yeah, my
that's just
favorite
crazy.
part has to be darker, and second favorite dark side sub areas.
Yeah, I think Darker is definitely the coolest part of the mod, like hands down. Like some of the stuff during that, like during my casual playthrough of that, I was just mind blown by. Like some of the parts were just really really creative, especially in like Dormant and stuff. Um, I was
Yeah, I
like,
don't know
holy
how I came
shit.
up with Dormant. It was
Yeah.
one of those moments.
How long did Darker take you? Like just all of Darker.
3 weeks. I made it while
That's
Joy-Con was in England, and we had like 3 weeks, like 4 weeks until the mod came out. And I was like, all right, we're locking in.
that's insane
Yeah,
that you
so
did that in
I want to
3 weeks.
clear up
That
all of
feels
Darker and Dark Side sub areas. That was RedSlay. I don't know how to make custom sub areas. So he did all of that like custom creation, and basically all the ideas were his as well. He was putting in mad work with like the last month and a half with those sub areas and then Darker Side.
yeah. Darker is
Yeah, that
so
was
cool.
a crazy time.
I haven't even casually done Dark Side yet at all. I've seen some of like what the sub areas are like, and I've seen like that some of them are like kingdoms. Also, spoiler alert for anyone watching, by the way, for Kaizo mode. I probably should have said at the beginning, but I'm a little like I've seen a little bit like of the purple coin like sub areas, and those look very interesting. Um,
Yeah,
yeah,
dark side sub areas were really fun to make. They're probably my favorite part of the mod to make.
yeah, I'm excited to see some of them because I feel like I've only seen like parts of like half of them, so that's gonna be fun. I should do that like sometime soon. I just don't like
You
the
should, they're good.
bunnies at all.
So that's the very clear example of Red Slay's design philosophy of being very like structural and like I'm gonna plan out a sub area and then something like really cool will come about because of it when he made the dark side sub areas. And when I made the Dark Side boss rush, it was wow, I have literally zero ideas. What can I throw into an arena and do the first thing that comes to my mind that works? And you can kind of tell because that topper fight on its own is just violently despicable.
Yeah.
It's a piece of work.
So what I'm getting from all of this is that I have Joy-Con to blame for everything.
Yes,
Um,
quite
True
literally.
information.
and RedSlay to thank for everything cool.
Sure. To be
I
fair,
have
boss fights are hard to make.
Yeah,
Like,
they
and
yeah.
are.
Joy-Con had so many boss fights to make. I made him do all of Mushroom refights as well, and Dark. I said, you know what? I'm doing Darker. I'm having fun. You can do the refights.
To be
You
fair, the
have fun with
refights
that.
I haven't played any of the refights yet, but I've seen all of them and they all look really cool. Those ones I think
M-
you did a pretty good job with.
I had the design philosophy whenever I was making a boss fight that I wasn't going to add any enemies to the boss fights. I always wanted it to be okay, how can I make the arena different that shows off the little quirks and challenging parts of the bosses themselves rather than just being like, here's a really easy boss, but also 10,000 Goombas, 20,000 dry bones, 100 poison piranha plants. I really wanted to try and I think the design philosophy more than the ideas is what kind of carried me through those fights because it just meant that you were never just getting enemy spam fights.
Yeah, I think that's a good idea because like even just the from like my running experience, even from just the Cap Kingdom Topper fight, that shit sucks. I hate it. Like thank you for not putting Spinies in every boss fight because I would have hated that. The three Spinies in the Topper fight somehow make it so much worse to speedrun. It's insane.
That was my
Um,
doing. That one was my fault.
yeah,
Spinies are the worst enemy in this game, and I will
like
not take any other
It
yeah.
was
answers.
fun to make that because I love it. It's such a small change. Just add a couple of spinies and it makes doing the first strat so annoying. It just works
Yeah,
so
it
nicely.
makes the casual playthrough like it's still extremely easy, but once you try to speedrun it, it's just so annoying doing the fast strats. You just have to try to hit them, and then sometimes the
Yeah.
RNG I
That's
think just
another thing
messes you
about
up.
the mod is because we're both speedrunners. Some of the like boss fights and stuff, we just made it so that it would be hard to do speedrun strats. Like
Yeah,
Topper, like you can just lower the spinies out and then it's easy. But if you're speedrunning, you're not going to do that because that takes ages.
Yeah, I like that you did keep speedrunning in mind to some extent because it is pretty cool. A lot of the skips are really nice. Like obviously the game isn't like, apart from moons, the game isn't changed too much. So it still feels like I'm speedrunning Odyssey, but like just with like changes like every few seconds. So it's nice. It's not like I had to like learn an overwhelmingly amount of stuff to speedrun it. It's more of just
Yeah.
like the each individual section, I guess. Um, and it's actually like not too bad for any percent at least until like Ruined and Moon took a long time to learn. But yeah, I guess we could go into Ruined and Moon. What was your like idea with the Ruined climb and the Moon Bowser fights? Because they're definitely the hardest parts of any percent for sure.
So those were both me. The ruined
Wow,
climb.
I'm surprised.
The ruined climb. I don't really know where the idea came from. Obviously, I do a lot of min cap stuff, so I wasn't put in as like, oh my gosh, guys, 2 captures. But like, I was thinking, it just kind of came to mind, like, how would you even do 2 captures if we wanted to put it in? And I was like, well, if you had this really long climb to the arena, that would work. And then I was like, that's actually kind of cool and brings some variance to Ruined Kingdom to make it just not the most boring kingdom in the world. So with that was kind of how I got the base idea, and then I literally just went from like kingdom to kingdom and like looked through all the sub areas and went, where's an object I can use? Cap danger sign, the random spinning platforms from the Yoshi sub area, and just went and just tried to grab as many objects as I could, and then just string them together.
Is there a way that you made the spinning platforms spin all the way? Because I feel like that's not how they normally act, are they? In the Yoshi sub area?
It's not how they normally work.
Yeah.
No, basically, a lot of the things in Spotlight, the editing software, have like a speed or a
Maybe like
rotation.
parameters for
Yeah, and you can
each
just put in like
property.
numbers. So
Yeah.
they do give you a lot of options with the speed. So I just made it so the rotation degree was like 360 each way. So it
That's always
couldn't.
fun to see people's reactions to when they get to that
I
part
always
after the
forget
hard
that.
jump, like from the
Yeah,
danger sign, like, and then it just keeps spinning and people get pissed. Yeah.
I always forget that that's not normal. Like, I've watched the mod so many times now, I go, oh yeah, right, you're probably not expecting the platform to just do that.
Yeah. That's
Yeah, and I like that the second one is more sensitive than the first one. So once you're used to like what the first one does, the second one then just really goes.
yeah. I feel like I can kind of relate to like the forgetting stuff because I've literally like been playing this mod so much at this point, just running it, that like it's hard to go back to the regular game. Like I keep forgetting stuff. Like if you ask me right now, like where the shards on the Moai Island are, um, in like the
Mm.
regular game, I wouldn't be able to tell you because I just know where the Kaizo ones are now. It's so silly.
That happens to me as well. I was doing a Talkatoo race with a couple of friends the other day, and I was fine until I got to Luncheon Kingdom, which is the kingdom I spent the most time on. And it's like all the cracks are fixed, and I'm getting ready to go around the entire like
Yeah,
kingdom looking for cracks. I'm like, actually, no, that's not too bad actually. So it has
yeah.
been messing with my psyche a bit. I wanted to run on moons as soon as I released the mod, and I'm too scared to go back because I don't remember where all the moons are anymore.
Yeah, I don't think it's, I imagine it's probably worse for you since you made the mod, but it's definitely some of like the more obscure stuff like the shards on like, or like shards and stuff like that. Just I can't remember anything. Like the lunch and cheese room, I like just started figuring out where the shards are in vanilla game like maybe 6
Oh
months before
yeah,
the mod came out. Then the mod came out and now it's going to take me like another 3 years to figure out where those things are every single time. Um
Yeah.
Especially since I did
But
that in any percent for a bit, but yeah.
it's been even worse for me because I think Draken, you had like did a few moons runs like during the working of Kaiser mode. Like I really didn't touch Odyssey outside of Kaiser mode since
mm.
Yeah.
like September last year. So like I think we did a bingo the other day, and I did not know where things were. It
Yeah.
was fun.
I wish more people got into speedrunning it because, like, obviously, I mean, it makes sense that people aren't because it is pretty obscure. just like speedrun it. Like not that many people do it, but it would be nice to have competition. And I do think it's like genuinely like I think like Kaizo Darker especially is like one of the coolest speedrunners I've ever done. I do have some bias because I obviously made the entire route, but which made it even cooler because it's always fun making a route and then kind of getting to experience that route like and see that it works. Very fulfilling, but
Yeah.
it would be cool seeing other people do Kaizo Darker, even though it's a 5 hour category and most people aren't crazy enough to go do that.
Yeah,
I
I
feel
think
like
the
Moon
Moon Bowser
Bowser.
fight.
Yeah, that's exactly.
Moon Bowser is a big like deterrent for a lot of people doing any run of Kaizo, which is fair. Moon Bowser is very weird. I find it pretty chill because I made it, so I did all like the unnerfed and harder versions. So I kind of get how it works now, but when you're doing it for like the second time, I can see it being super daunting.
Oh yeah, it was hard. I for a bit like I was like I don't know if I can do this like and submit this to pace. Like I don't know if I'll be able to get this consistent. And then Vitox like made that tutorial for it and that saved me that tutorial because that was like all the strats there were pretty consistent. I made like a few tweaks to it and stuff and then like I kind of figured it out. But that Moon Bowser is rough. Like that's still there's still sometimes especially like I think like the last month I had like 3 different days where I just kept messing up and I lost like 10 minutes to the Bowser fight in Moon and I was so pissed. One of
It's
my
very
darker
tough.
records had like 12 minutes in Moon Kingdom because of that and I was so annoyed. Um but I feel like I'm starting to get the hang of it. I'm definitely going to be practicing that like for multiple hours before my showcase on stage because I do not want to die there. Um,
Hmm.
that's like what I'm
Yeah.
set on for my showcase. Like I don't care how bad the run is, as long as I don't die in the ruin climb, or at least not like past the first few jumps, and I don't die to Moon Bowser, because those I feel like look really impressive to the casual viewer if you can first try that.
Yeah.
Um, so that's where my goals are for that. Um, what about you guys? Do you plan to speedrun it at all? Joy-Con, I know you did some
I
darker ILs.
I've
Um,
been trying to stay away from playing the main game too much. I've obviously done a lot with Darker because I didn't make it, so I don't feel as bad. But especially at the start, it would feel very unfair to be like, oh, I'm going to do a Darker run before there's a route, but I know where 440 of the moons are because I made half the mod and I watched the other person who'd made the other half make all the moons.
yeah, that's fair.
So I've tried to like stay away from it just so it's not like, oh, he has 10,000 times more practice than anyone else because he made the mod. Maybe later down the line, once it's like, okay, it's been out long enough that this advantage is clearly gone. But as of now, I've just tried to stick to Darker. Also, I love Darker, and
Darker is so cool.
it
Yeah.
it definitely lines up very well with the kind of stuff that I enjoy. So I
I
have
gotta
been playing that
say,
a lot.
the fact that you didn't make Darker and you got that like you got the times in the Darker Isle that you did like that quickly kind of is insane. Like you guys are both of you are really underrated in skill level. Like I definitely underestimated you a bit with the Darker Isle. You just completely destroyed me so quickly. Um,
It plays into I think our skill sets very well
yeah,
because like me and Red neither of us run any percent, I've done a bit of all moons. Red Slay's done, star percent and min caps and all that. So we can speed run the game, but not in like a hey look at us, we're very good speedrunners of the game. So it was definitely something that could show off the fact that I think both of us have just a weird skill set that has like niche, things we can do well. And it just happens that Darker is just a very weird, eclectic mix of skills that kind of lines up well with what we're good at because it's the stuff we like to do.
Yeah, I
yeah,
mean, Daka was pretty much made for us to play. Like, that was the
Uh,
main
yeah.
target audience of it.
yeah,
Yeah, I think it
Darker
makes
was.
sense because you guys have a lot of like MCMM experience, min caps, max moons for anyone that doesn't
Yeah.
know. So like you're just used to like the challenges and stuff, so it kind of makes sense that you'd be just kind of
Yeah.
naturally good at just not dying there, even if it's not like necessarily going super fast through it. So it makes sense.
Darker was something that was planned basically from the moment we decided we were making a full mod. Like, it was the last thing we made because we wanted to make sure we were good enough at, or RedSlay was good enough at making the levels by the time we got there. But it was something that we had like a spreadsheet of planning all the different ideas we were going to do, and it was something we talked about very frequently while making the mod, and something that we looked forward to a lot because it is just something we both would love. A lot of people have compared Darker to Celeste. Me and RedSlay both have 202 berries in Celeste, which is like 100% plus all the levels deathless. And so it's something that we love a lot, and you can see the kind of crossover there. And it just, yeah, it's something that we looked forward to because it just lines up with all the stuff we've done in all the games we've played.
Yeah.
Yeah. The dark side surveys and Darker, anytime I didn't have ideas, I would look at modded Celeste maps and just see if I could get anything. And the 3 dark side sub areas that aren't purple coin areas were all based on a Strawberry Jam Grandmaster map. Like, they were all based on one
Yeah.
specific map.
That's awesome. I need to play Celeste someday. I've had it on like my bucket list for a long time, but I never actually got the game yet.
Would recommend.
It is
But
my favorite game of all
I
time.
definitely need to play it eventually because it looks really cool and everyone obviously loves it. So, yeah, it looks pretty nice. Yeah, obviously, actually no, I'm gonna go through a few different parts of Kaizo mode and just kind of see like what the inspiration was behind them, I guess. What was the inspiration behind the festival? Because that, honestly, especially early on, was one of my favorite parts of Kaizo mode for sure.
So festival was me. I did 0.000%, which is no coins, no jumps, no cap throws. And the biggest like block of getting moons in that is the festival. So the idea of like not doing the 2D came from that. Again, it's not like the Ruin Climb, it's not because of that, but it was always something that was in my head just through doing that. And so then it kind of just came about of how can I make it so you can do this? It wanted to be the least amount of changes that I could possibly make to force the festival. And it is while doing that that I realized how ridiculously unlikely the festival jumpless is, because I had to delete about 50 objects and add 6 girders that swing in order to make it so you can climb up the City Hall tower with the festival not active. It is so bulletproof, locked out by the game, it's insane.
Yeah. So yeah, festival was really funny when like obviously the troll, like when you get to the end and it just sends you to the back to the beginning. That was pretty humorous.
I love watching people's reactions of that.
Do you guys obviously I remember you guys, there used to be a death plane for the impossible jump, but then you got rid of it in a later update. What was the thought process behind getting rid of it?
Just people kept that death plane is a lot higher than it normally is when you're running like when you're doing it in just like day metro or whatever. So people would keep doing like trying to jump to the mainland, being like that's the next logical step, and then seeing a high death plane and assuming that that is the reason that that jump is impossible in the base game, and going, oh, it can't be that. And that, like, it kind of felt unfair that they kind of got the solution and didn't see it, just because they didn't know the actual, you know, reason you can't do Festival Impossible is because there's an invisible wall that I deleted. So I just moved the death plane down to be like, no, this is possible. I also think, RedSlay, you added like a scooter to the mainland. I added coins to try and show where it was, and that didn't help at all. And then I think you added a scooter.
Yeah. I will say I liked that when I played it. I liked that when I played it, the death plane was there because that was the first thing I tried to do before I even entered the 2D section. So that was
that's funny.
That was funny for me because then I was so confused when I got to the end, but eventually I figured it out. So it was fun. But Festival was really hard the first time too, but as soon as you do it once, it's like really easy for some reason, or not really easy, but it's a lot easier, for whatever reason, which is nice.
Yeah,
for
some of the
speedruns.
jumps are pretty tricky just because of how the girders move, I think. And a lot of the stuff you have to do is kind of weird. Like, you know, a lot of people bonk on the girder to get like that final bit of height. Because the actual jump itself isn't that high, but like getting a good triple jump and like cat bounce, you know, you usually want your neutral cat bounce off the like motion control against the wall, and it just all gets a bit too much with like moving girders everywhere and stuff. So I think the hard part is almost like processing all the information that's going around.
Yeah. All right. So when you guys took out the Sphinx for in Moon Kingdom, did you like know Moon Cave Skip was still very very doable, or were you not really?
Yeah,
Yes.
completely.
Okay. Yeah.
It's actually in the credits. I think it says like we know that Mooncave Skip is possible.
Oh really?
I want.
Yeah, something
Yeah,
I
like
did
that.
not know that.
I
That's
thought
sick.
I thought Games Jam was gonna be the one to do it because I'd seen they did it for min cap throws, like for wall jump Mooncave Skip, which you know you only have to do 3 of them because of how you know you have a cap bounce. But I knew it was possible. It was one of those things where it's not easy. You know, it's not a freeway where everyone's going to skip past Mooncave. It's kind of saying, hey, we don't want you to skip Mooncave. Like, please go this way. But, you know, Mooncave is also a lot of lava bouncing and a couple tough trick jumps. So, like, if you don't want to do Mooncave, you can still try Moon Bowser. You just have to put a bit more effort into Mooncave Skip.
Yeah. That's nice. Obviously, this isn't the first like Kaizo-ish mod. There was Superstar Mode in like 2018, but that was a lot less complete and a little bit more janky in a lot of areas. Was there any parts that like you kind of copied from Superstar Mode, or any parts on the other end of things that you didn't want to do the same way of Superstar Mode, like the escape sequence? Like without Bowser, Superstar Mode did that. Obviously, you use Bowser in the escape sequence in this.
Yeah,
Is there any
there were
sort of
there were
things
things like that where we thought like this would be cool, but Superstar did it, so we don't want to do it. Like Escape Bowser, because we don't like want to copy Superstar. And like for the most part, we didn't. Although I think there were just a couple moons that we just happened to place in the same place, just because I guess us and Skellex had the same ideas.
Yeah.
But for the most part, we had tried our best not to copy Superstar.
Yeah, I think that was I think you did a pretty good job with that. The only like there was only like a couple parts that were like similar to Superstar, which would be like I guess Frog Room, but like what else are you gonna do apart from like get rid of the
Yeah.
frog?
Yeah.
And like stuff like that. But even then, like I liked the coin stack at the end of the top of the tower. I didn't even know about that for like 4 weeks or something, and then I was just my mind was blown when I realized that.
I have no idea why that was there. It's cool though.
Yeah. I like it because it's 1.0 and there's no Luigi arts, so I think it's really nice for like Darker especially to have those coins there, because if they weren't there, Kaizo Darker we would have to get like 7 or 8 like extra moons that are actual moons.
Yeah, that's true actually.
It's hard to do that.
We did specifically make sure to like add more coin stacks to the game because it was 1.0. And there's a couple coin stacks that respawn that don't normally, like the one in the Knuckle arena. That one respawns, so if you just go in and out of the area, every single coin in that stack comes back.
I did not know that. I don't think that would be useful for Kaizo Darker, but
There's also one on
that's very good to know for
Yoshi's
Kaizo
Island.
Moons if I
Yeah.
route that eventually.
There's a better one in Yoshi's Island in Mushroom though. That's
Yeah.
like 500 coins.
Damn.
Infinitely respawning.
Okay, that's very good to know for all moons routing that I'll probably eventually do, and then maybe do one run of, but probably not because that's too long.
I want to do
good
all
luck
moons
with that.
eventually. All
Yeah, me
moons is
too.
on my goal of
Yeah.
like I want to do that RTA.
Yeah, I want to make
Yeah.
a route for it just because I feel like that'd be fun to do. But I don't know if I'll actually do a run of it. Maybe I will do like one run of it. I feel like that'd be fun, but it depends if I can actually get consistent at like some of the harder moons, especially Bound Bowl. I'm so bad at Bound Bowl.
Bambol is tough.
I will say this mod made me like multiple seconds better at Snowline. but I don't know if I want to endure the suffering of the ice burn circuits. Down bowl. That does not
It
sound
is
Yeah,
fun.
definitely one of the
terrified of it.
hardest. It's one of the hardest and also one of the most obscure moons. Like, if a KFR is tough, it's like, okay, but that's just speedrun movement. Whereas Bambol being tough, it's like, oh, you have to really want to save, especially Iceburn, you have to really want to save like 10 seconds in your all moons runs, which, like no one really needs to do
Yeah.
besides like the top runners.
How many people do you think like almost have all moons but like don't have it because of like Down bowl and Luncheon Notes and like some of those moons, I guess?
Placid is one moon away in Bambol. I know that.
Oh,
Um, I, there's a few people who sit around like the 800 mark,
yeah.
Yeah.
but there's actually very few that are like 870, which I'm surprised at. I thought more people would give up with like the Bowser's Climb, the ruined
Oh, the Bash. I
second visit
forgot about
climb.
that one. Yeah. I'd started doing that, but then I just stopped because I was mad. I forgot
That
about
climb
the
is
Bowser's
hard.
Climb, yeah.
The worst bit about that is all the difficulties right in the middle. Like it's really like dense difficulty and in the middle, and every time you want to do the start, you got to do like 15 seconds of not that difficult platforming before it actually starts again.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Um, RedSlay, I know you had a like slideshow thingy.
Oh,
Is
I
that still
did. Oh.
is that still something we're doing?
Yeah, should we go through that now?
Yeah, sure. I mean, I don't know what it is at all, but if this is
Nor
a
do
good
I, don't
time,
worry.
all right.
Alright, if you look towards my profile pic, you will get to see
Wait.
the world's first SpeedTalk Tour Google Slides
Oh God.
slideshow presentation. Let us commence forth. So I'll show some images and then I'll explain what they are. Okay, so these two, what the? Yo, that. Okay, it's just on my monitor. So we found out that you can change the like color of moons, and we
Oh,
were planning on doing that to all the kingdoms with yellow moons, so that each kingdom had a unique moon. But then on like the maps and stuff and the icons that appear in the top left, we'd have to somehow change them, which probably requires like coding,
yeah.
which we don't know how to do. So we didn't
That would have been cool.
get to do this,
I
unfortunately.
I do want to touch on one thing real quick, sorry. One of my favorite things about how we made this mod is neither of us know how to code and neither of us had any prior experience before this, which I think is kind of cool. Like anyone can make a mod. Anyone could do this. We have no extra information, no like school knowledge or
Yeah,
anything.
that's true.
We did this through pure determination and just messing around in an editor and just doing what we could do. It doesn't take knowing C++ or Python or whatever you want to
Yeah.
code in.
Yeah. That's
And of
just
course
that is
asking Chico
insane.
in the modding server. My god.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, my god, Chico. Yeah, that's
That's
Chico.
insane
Save
to
the
have
mod.
this as like your first project, like not even like a small level or anything. It's
Yeah.
just like the whole game.
I'll
Yo,
say the funny.
Yoshi. Colored Yoshi. Why didn't you
Yeah,
do that?
Yoshi.
That would have
Yoshi
been
was gonna be
sick.
blue. I think we just forgot about this. To be
Oh,
honest, like I was
Yeah,
looking through my album like a couple days ago and I saw this and I was like, oh yeah,
you
Yoshi
should
could have been blue.
you should do you should do a new update and just change Yoshi's color and that's it.
Yeah, we can do that in the
Nothing
next
else.
update. Just make him blue.
That'd
Uh,
be fire.
Seaside Kingdom. What a fun place to be. So Seaside Kingdom had a couple issues while we were working on it, such as volleyball broke for some reason. No one knows why.
Wait, why is Dory so high in the air in that photo? I just noticed that.
That's a good
Oh
question.
yeah,
I think
let's.
there's no water, so that's probably normal.
Oh, it is normal, yeah.
Yeah, and then this was the shopkeeper who got left behind. Dory just went off without her, and she was left floating in the air. Unfortunate, I guess. Uh, we broke something.
Oh, what the hell?
Oh, this was the first custom sub area that I made. It was just a copy of Flooded Pipes, but in Cascade Kingdom. And I hadn't figured out how to fix the lighting yet, so
Why was there
Yeah.
flooded pipes in Cascade Kingdom?
I was just testing out, like
Oh,
trying
okay.
to create a new area, and it works surprisingly easily.
Nice.
What else have we got?
The
Metro
corn!
Kingdom. This corn was originally going to be in the mod to take you from the park to the skyscraper,
Oh, that would have
but
been
then
awesome.
we decided against it because it just looked a bit
It does look
stupid.
really weird, yeah. It does look
There's
very
We
some
also wanted the
other
tank jump scare.
some other
Yeah.
folks from Metro. The original Darkside mech fight had these spinning rings from Topper,
Oh no.
but then that happened. So we
Okay,
decided
thank God.
they need to
Thank
go.
God it did.
The mech's legs is like me after a long day of playing darts. Just like not at all in the right place.
Yeah. I'm happy that didn't work out.
Oh, and here's Darker with all the pipes for every sub area with every scenario. This is like when I was working on Darker, I just had all of them so I could have, easy access to
Nice. I
everywhere.
do really like the practice room you guys added in a later update. I think that's really cool.
Yeah. We should have
I
added
really-
it sooner, to be honest.
Yeah, I didn't really. I most of my practice was done before that was added, but I have used it a
Yeah.
little bit for like a lot of freedom, especially.
I've used it
Yeah.
so much when doing darker golden stuff.
Yeah,
Like darker deathless, sorry.
I imagine
Oh,
it's gonna be very
Toad, he
useful
said
for that.
something quite rude. We didn't tell him to do that, he just did.
Yeah, Shigeru Miyamoto coded that into the game apparently.
The moon rocks were originally gonna be this.
That
Bendy.
looks
Then
so
again,
ugly.
like Yoshi, like it just got forgotten about, so it never made it in. Maybe we could add it in a patch. I don't know.
It looks too ugly, honestly. I'm happy that one didn't get in.
I think he looks nice. I like him.
Maybe.
Is there anything else? I don't. Oh, that's it.
That's it.
There we go. That concludes the official Speed Talk to a Google Slideshow PowerPoint presentation slides.
Thank you,
Beautiful.
Mr.
Thank you
Redslay
for
207.
thank you for watching.
Amazing. Anyway, we've talked a lot about not speed talk. We've talked a lot about Kaizo mode. That's what it's called. But before we get onto fan questions, what is some other stuff that you guys are up to or have done? Obviously, RedSlay. You have done some min caps max moons, I believe, and you obviously have like the star percent record. So tell us a bit about that, I guess.
Oh, that was a while ago.
Yeah.
The grind's kind of stopped.
Sub
It
12
will
will
come
happen
back.
one
It
day.
will
When's
come
sub
back.
12?
Copium, it will happen. It will happen.
We need sub 12. Isn't it 1201 right now? Is that what
Yes,
it's at?
1201 with a bonking mushroom that loses 3 seconds.
Then you have to. You have to come back.
It's gotta happen. It will happen. It will.
Yeah.
It's coming. Yeah, MCMM, like a new moon got discovered recently, but it's a trick
Which
jump,
one?
so it's just in Moon Cave, the like two
Both
in
of
the
them.
middle.
Yeah, I saw that.
But there's an elite trick jump you have to do, and God, I hate trick jumping.
Trick jumping is terrible.
I haven't
Yeah.
got the trick jump once in like 8 hours. I need to go back and do it at some point, but God. I've been mainly focusing on other games. Of course, the Limbo grind in GD.
Yeah.
There might be another GD grind happening soon.
No.
Much to
Nice.
Joy-Con's disappointment.
I hate
Geometry Dash
GD.
is cool.
I have a strong distaste towards Geometry Dash. It was very bad for
He wasn't.
the
He didn't
Kaizo
like
mode
the Limbo
grind.
grind.
No.
I got a bit angry. I
Yeah,
may have shouted a lot.
yeah. And it was quite funny that in the time that Kaizo mode was made, RedSlay beat at the time like the 12th hardest Geometry Dash level.
16th.
16th. And he got angry a lot.
I was a bit fuming.
Yeah.
Yeah, and also I've been focused on Tears of the Kingdom. I've been like throughout like a chunk of the Kaizo mode grind, I was like trading world records with Player 5.
Oh, yeah, I remember you doing speedruns of that.
And then I've also been doing like all shrines and stuff since.
Nice.
Well, that's been fun.
I'll say Geometry Dash is is a fun game. I'm really not that good at it, but it's probably because I play it on my phone. But it's my favorite. It's the only game on my phone that I do play sometimes. So
No, I
you know,
played on my
it's
Kindle
got that
Fire
going
for
for it.
about 3 years, and I beat
That's
Deadlocked.
what I
So
did as
you can
well. I
do
played
it.
on my
You can
Kindle
do
Fire
it.
as well when I was young, for a while. So
Shout outs to the
yeah,
Kindle Fire. I
those are
absolutely
good days.
smashed one of those. I was playing Invisible Club Step, and I got annoyed. I died at 70, and I smacked the screen 20 times, and it shattered.
That's crazy. All right, what about you, Joy-Con? As you're playing with all those
I'm
things
playing
that
with
you
my
got.
banana.
Nice. Does it have a name?
I'm gonna call him Greg after the sausage roll. My guy.
All right,
Just found him.
sounds
I don't
good.
know where he came from.
Just found him.
Um,
Just spawned there.
yeah, he was just there. But anyway, I also did MCMM. I've actually finished it.
Have you?
I yes, I broke a controller in the meantime. Hang on.
Oh, yeah, you did.
Um. Oh, ow. Um, I have this controller with the right stick is in jeopardy. I don't know if you can see it, but that's just
Yeah,
not how a right stick's
that looks
supposed to
rough.
look. Yeah, that went into my window at quite a pace. But I did MCMM despite the hardships. I what else did I do? I'm kind of weird in I never get all the way to the top. Like I did star percent. I'm currently third. Um, or fourth if you count Gorgonim twice. I did all moons for a bit. I got like an 8-2x. I'm planning on going back to that. The most recent one has definitely been Celeste doing 202, which I mentioned earlier. What other stuff do I do? Oh, I do multi Mario as well. I
Oh yeah, that's
have
right.
done uh, three 602s and an 1862, which the 1862 was 2 sleep break, and I plan on going to do that sleepless again at some point, probably towards Christmas. But the 602s, I did do one of them sleepless, so I enjoy the challenge of multi Mario. Like a lot of the stuff I do is more for the challenge that it is to actually complete a run, more than how much I enjoy the speedrunning aspect. Like star percent especially is basically just like, can you hit these 6 insanely difficult tricks in a row, and that's how you get a better time. The kind of like learning the slight optimizations in movement and saving point one has never really been as much my thing. I also love 2P, so I do a lot of 2P focus stuff.
Yeah, makes sense. Lots of cool stuff. I talked a bit about the pace showcase run I'm doing earlier. You guys ever going to pace? Summer pace? Ever?
It's hard for us because we live like the
Yeah.
It's a bit
two.
far.
It's a bit
Ryan and I don't
far.
do flights to America, so like I don't know how I'd get there.
I mean, my
Yeah.
Australian friend Duckable, I think, had an incredible flight experience last time. So
Oh, I felt so bad watching that.
yeah, that thread is
Yeah.
insane. I mentioned it in my last episode with King J, but that thread was that was the saddest thing I've ever seen. But
It's
then she got
flying
there,
is
so
just the most stressful experience as well.
yeah.
Like I've flown a lot because I have family in England, so I've done a lot of trips back and, or not a lot, but a fair few trips back and forth to see family, and it's always just so stressful. And that's probably one of the other reasons I would struggle to ever go to pace. Whenever I go to like I go overseas, it's always to see family at home in England, and then from there I'll go take like 3 days to go to London or something, and that's like my holidays for the year. So getting to like America is very difficult for me.
Yeah, makes sense. I will say it is a very fun time. So if the entire
It looks
Odyssey
like a good
community
time.
ever goes again, that would be the time to go, probably.
Hopefully
Um,
by then I'll have a job as well, which will make it like I'll be making
oh
my
yeah,
own
yeah.
money. That's always been an issue as well. Like
It
I'd
is
have to
very
just be like, yo,
pricey.
parents, hook me up with 6 grand. Cheers.
Yeah, I'm very lucky that I live 3 hours away from it and can just
Yeah, that is pretty handy.
go and don't have to spend too much. So that's always nice. Anyway, So we will move on to fan questions. We got 50 fan questions for this episode. We're only going to do about 12 of them.
When are the air conditioner questions?
The what?
Air conditioner questions. You
The
know,
air
fan,
conditioner
air
questions?
conditioner.
Oh.
Oh,
Ah, there we
there.
go.
that's why they call him SMO 5 million IQ con.
Dude, that took me like 30 seconds to process.
That's what you get with an SMOjoycon joke.
We got like, I don't know what you guys did with the advertising. We got like 40 troll questions. We got one from like Tyrone, which was not from Tyrone, I can guarantee you. One from Chaos, which was not from Chaos, I can guarantee you. One from Smallant, which I don't think was from Smallant. And then just a lot
Mr.
of like
Worldwide.
random other questions that I don't even think I can ask in the podcast. So we're just gonna stick to the serious questions, because this is just a very boring podcast. So no fun allowed.
We hate fun.
Yeah, I absolutely hate it.
Can we randomly select one unserious question and just have a bit of a cheeky moment?
Yeah, we could try, but if it depends if it's appropriate for the podcast or not.
Let's go.
Well, we'll do that now so that we don't forget. I don't think.
Okay.
Okay, yeah, you guys disappear. You guys are gonna be black screened on the layout real quick, so I can go here really quickly, please. All right. Sorry, podcast viewers. All right, pick a number from 1 to 50.
I'm feeling 37. I don't know about you, RedSlay. But
Yeah, yeah.
All right, 37. Find it. All right, this question is from Bert Miller. Oh yeah, this one I'm not including just because I didn't know like what it was saying. What is better, fauna or flora? Also, what is your favorite king off moss?
Kind of moss. Okay. Ooh. Flora or fauna? That's a big toss-up. You see, flora, that's like plants. And plants, they help you breathe. And breathing, I'm a big fan of breathing. But fauna is like, animals and... wait, I think I got this... No, what is it? RedSlay, help. You do biology.
Well, I think one of them is fungus.
Fungus?
I could be wrong, though.
I don't know what either of these words mean, to be honest.
It's just a weird way of saying like plants and not plants.
Yeah, I have to go the first one because they taste the best.
Fair.
What, plants?
Yeah.
You don't like scran? What? But what about like steak?
If you're walking past like a bush, you just have a little nibble on your way home from school. Do you not do that?
No, that's not me. I usually go get like some roadkill.
Oh, that's tempting. Oh, dude,
so
you got me there.
Good on serious question. I was
that
a big fan. Thank you to my guy Bert Miller 207, my goat.
Thanks, Bert 207.
We also had like 4 people pretending to be me with their questions, which it wasn't me. I don't know who out there is impersonating me, but I'm gonna find you.
What if you were like sleepwalking and you accidentally got on your phone and typed out a question?
I don't think so. But maybe, I don't know. Anyway, first question we have from, I guess we'll do this one first because it kind of ties back to Darker. But from Chillery, this is specifically for RedSlay.
I guess I'll just leave then.
Yeah, you could just leave. Chillery wants to know, how did you come up with each section of Kaizo Darker? We'll just kind of go through each of them quickly, I guess. And then he also says, also great guys, really well done. It's very, very heartwarming from Chillery.
Thank you, Chillery.
So also, I guess, yeah.
Start was, let's start. We just made it harder. That's pretty standard. Then we got Remember, which I think a lot of Darker was inspired by the Celeste map 9D, Chapter 9 D-side by Monica. And I'm sure if you played it, you can see it. Like, Remember was kind of inspired by the part of the map where you like play previous parts of the game again, where you go like back through the game.
Yeah, I really like that.
like go
Which is
through each
also
section.
like a big thing in Celeste as well. Like
Yeah.
that's in the unmodded Celeste.
Yeah.
I do have one question
Then
about Remember.
oh, go on.
Why do the lake pillars suck? Like, could you not?
Yeah, actually, that's a really good question.
That
Couldn't
is
you
a
have
good
made
question.
them
I don't
a
know.
little bit nicer.
Oh well, I just put them there, and then I played it, and I was like, could change it,
You
but
could
I
have
did
just
it
put the
first
checkpoint
try.
like one section earlier.
Yeah,
That would have saved everything.
yeah.
But
Lake's an interesting place. I don't really know how that happened, but
yeah,
the thing about those platforms is they're awesome because the slope on the top is perfect for doing dive vaults. So I really wanted to use them just because it makes doing dive vaults so easy.
I've missed so many like cat bounces whenever I tried to do a tap vault. But I
Yeah,
guess
the
that
cat
was
bounce
Maybe
with
the
like a
pillars don't
boost.
like you.
Yeah, yeah, the pillars just don't
The
like
pillar
me.
doesn't like you.
Yeah.
Oh no.
Yeah. Then you got
Yeah,
Dormant,
Dormont's
which was
awesome.
inspired by. I mean, the death blocks were inspired by like spinners from Celeste, which are just the spikes. Because I was like, I want to make something. Like the problem I had was there was no way to like make taking damage be an issue. Because you can just damage boost. So I was like, well, how can we fix that? Just make it kill you instead of damage you. So I just made death planes instead of like normal spikes, and then the rest of the ideas kind of came from that. Oh, good lord. And then Freedom. Freedom was the last one I made when I had no ideas left. And I just put whatever down, and if it made some gameplay, it made some gameplay. And that's why
Quote
Freedom is ass.
quote from RedSlay. Oh, I just realized with Freedom, the gameplay doesn't need to be good. It just has to be a lot of it.
Is that a real quote?
Dude,
That
Yes.
that is
probably
a
is something
crazy
I said.
quote.
Yeah, that's pretty. That was my thought process making Freedom. Yeah, then Perseverance was awesome. It's inspired by the reunification checkpoint from 9D, which is kind of like a bit of a like maze. And you have to go around get keys and put them in locks. And we kind of did that with P switches, opening things and stuff. So we kind of tried to make it start like that. And Perseverance I really like because it's the only checkpoint that isn't completely like linear, which is cool. Well,
Nice
next
bit of
Yeah.
then,
variety.
yeah,
Collapse.
Collapse. This one was cool. We wanted to make some sort of like escape sequence thing, so rising lava just felt natural. Just like getting out of there as quick as you can. And because Dark, I hadn't had any like speed running gameplay up to this point, so we wanted that.
Yeah.
And of course, once I got to the end, I looked at Limbo by Mindcap and More, my favorite level in GD. Spent a year playing it. And I made some gameplay inspired by Limbo, which is the two like last rooms with the rocket flowers. That's kind
Yeah.
of like
I
Geometry
thought that
Dash.
was oh yeah, that definitely felt like Geometry Dash inspired. Like it was really cool. The only problem
Yeah.
is like you can just skip the rocket flowers entirely, but
Yeah, I was like debating whether to add Rising Lava to stop that, but then I just felt like, nah,
I
it's
like that
not
you didn't
that big a
because
deal.
it's one less thing I had to learn for speedruns. But like I
Yeah,
should learn it eventually because it is technically faster. So, you know.
It's not that
yeah,
bad. Like I do it in my darker deathless stuff.
Yeah,
yeah.
I
And
want to
there's
do
a
it
queue
eventually.
with the blocks. When there's two blocks stacked up, you drop down, and when there's just one block, you jump.
Yeah,
There you go. It's hidden messages. Got to read between the lines.
yeah, it was pretty cool. And what about Center of the Moon?
And Center of the Moon was inspired by like the end of 9D or just regular Chapter 9. Where it's just like a long room, no checkpoints, and it just keeps going and going and going.
Yeah, it's crazy. That part's so crazy. Which as I put in the little intro, there is an incentive for me showing off Center of the Moon on stage at Pace. If you donate, link
Get that
below.
Oh, surely
going.
we hit that.
I don't know if we're gonna hit it, but it'd be cool. It
Come
would be
on.
cool. I want to show off Kaizo Darker eventually at Pace. I kind of wish that the deadline was later, so I could just show off like a Darker IL because I feel like that's way cooler than
Yeah,
90%. But
that'd be awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm glad we managed to get the custom music in there because Center of the Moon was originally gonna have the like pillars music, which we put it in, and then we were just like, that just does not fit. This
Yeah.
sucks.
That doesn't sound like that sounds like it gets so annoying really quickly.
Yeah.
Um,
Oh, I'm glad we put the effort in
I like the
to
custom
get
music.
the
I mean,
custom
it's
music.
definitely like I've heard like some people say it's like overused and like it gets like way too repetitive. But I feel like whatever music you're gonna do there is gonna get repetitive
Yeah.
with how long you're gonna be
Yeah.
there for. So at
There's
least it's
always
not
gonna be
like
some people who have heard
yeah.
it a lot and are just
At least
bored
it's
of it.
not something that's not fun to listen to at all because that would just not be
Yeah.
pleasant.
The brown note for 7 hours of Center of the Moon.
What was the
Ooh.
thought process behind the Moai section at the end? Because that section is horrible
Way
and
the Moai
evil.
Oh, the
section.
classic. So in Perseverance, there's a Moai section. I was like, that was really fun gameplay. I really thoroughly enjoyed playing that. I'm gonna do it 3 more times. So I
At the
did.
end of a 7 minute section of movement where you can't make any
Yeah, and
mistakes.
it's a good like nerve test as well. Like because you can't go fast for it. You just have to kind of be like thoughtful and careful, which is hard to do with nerves.
Yeah,
Although the problem is
it's
it is a
yeah.
bit awful because the platforms are like invisible. So
The
sometimes you just
platforms are
die, and it
it's
does
such a
not
hard
feel
pattern
fair at
too.
all.
It's so hard to do.
The second
Yeah,
section is messed up. The first and third one
yeah,
is fine. It's the middle one that's just not.
yeah.
It's
That middle
not
one
okay.
is criminal.
I will say that the third one to do casually was pretty tough because it's like the elevation kind of changes
Yeah,
too, which messed me up a bit.
Mm.
But it's definitely a lot harder to die in that. The second section, even in speedruns, is the weirdest because you're doing like ground pound long jumps and stuff,
yeah,
um, which is a bit tricky. Uh, but yeah, I think it's really cool. I also like how the whole like low gravity like Moon Kingdom play through at the end. I think that's a really nice
yeah.
thing.
That was a nice way to finish it.
Yeah,
Because originally it was gonna just climb up the regular tower in the overworld, but
yeah,
then we realized, oh, like that just works so well for the fake ending because
yeah. I
it's
think it's
literally
so
is the ending.
cool. Yeah.
Because we were originally gonna make a
100%.
custom area with like a replica of the tower,
Yeah,
but
I like the Moon Tower, the Moon Kingdom overworld. It's cool. I actually think it's a more
yeah,
like it's a way more rewarding ending than like Vanilla Odyssey has just because of how much harder you worked for it, I think. And it's like a bit longer, so
yeah,
I liked it a
and it
lot.
gives Cappy time to give
Yeah.
his poem.
Yeah, but
Anyway, moving on because we still have like 10 more questions. From Schwendy, who had like 6 questions, but I'm only taking 2 of them because some of them were jokes. Um, First question is, what were your favorite ideas or concepts for moons or challenges that couldn't make it into the mod?
oof.
Ooh.
I actually do have one for this. The rolling sub area in Cap Kingdom. I spent so long trying to figure out that sub area. I really wanted either a notes moon or like a P switch where you had to go down and back up again. Everything I put in that sub area crashed, and I don't know if that was like the editing software or me, but I think that rolling sub area has so much potential for things you could do, and I couldn't make anything work properly. So I'm very sad that I never got to put anything in the mod in that sub area.
Yeah, that would have been cool, but
Yeah,
painful.
there
Um,
were several darker ideas that didn't make it purely because we only had 3 weeks. Because we had a list of like 30 sections, and like
really,
so many of them we just looked at and went like this, like I have no idea how the hell you'd even go about making this. Like
yeah,
how this just is not feasible. There were some good ideas in there. There's also some terrible ones.
The
yeah.
trick jumping section.
Oh God, that sounds
that didn't
horrible.
that didn't get very far past the jury of ideas.
That
Yeah.
doesn't sound like it would. On paper, that sounds like there could be something cool with the trick jump section, but like
It
where it's
depends
just
how
like
hard we made it.
yeah, it's just a bunch of like trick jumps and then there's like a checkpoint and then I don't know.
It would have to be easy. I
It wouldn't
cannot
have to be. It
stand
couldn't be
straight
like too
jumps.
I can't.
hard. Yeah.
That's the thing. People think we love trick jumps because it's in the mod. I despise trick jumps.
Yeah, I don't actually think there's
That's
too many
funny
trick
coming
jumps.
from
It's a
you. You
Kaizo
put
mode,
way
so.
too many in Metro Joy-Con. I was playing Metro
Oh
the other
yeah,
day.
Metro.
I'm
Yeah.
sick of your sub areas. You and your trick jumps are doing my head in.
I hate the rocket subreddit just because I play on Procon. I can't like space out the vault easily.
Oh, I
Oh
did.
yeah.
I did that one on Procon with the vault.
Same, yeah.
I
It
can
was
do
actually
it, but it's gonna be
inspirational.
so annoying. I can't.
You were the one that put the city hall. Like, how the hell do they take out the trash?
That's
So,
true. I did do that.
That one was. I did that on Procon, and it was the worst thing ever, dude. I hated that.
Oh, that
I tried
one's
doing a
great.
yeah,
talk 2%
RedSlay.
run. I tried doing a talk 2% run of Kaizo Mode. I spent literally 8 hours trying to do that on Procon, and then I finally got it, and I was like, dude, okay, that not doing that in Talkatoo anymore. That's just not a worthwhile move.
Yeah, well, all the mod was playtested on Procon, by the way. None of it was
Yeah.
done with Joy-Cons.
I hate Joy-Cons. All my Joy-Cons have broken either.
All my
Which is
Joy-Cons have been
crazy considering you're
lobbed
using
into
it.
the wall at severe
Yeah,
speeds, and they're all broken.
usually due to 3DSS.
Anyway, next question from Swendy is, not counting Darker Side, what's the coolest sub area in your opinion that you made changes to?
We should also exclude Darkside sub-areas from
Yeah,
this,
that's
Yeah,
because
exclude
they all
that
win.
too.
It really depends for me. I've had a lot of probably the most mixed feedback sub area is the rising one for the story moon in Seaside, like where you have to go out all the way to those islands. I really like that sub area, but I also understand that it's very jank. But it's something that I just think is so cool and such a weird thing that you'll never have any reason to do in any other like way of playing the game. So I really like that sub area.
Yeah, the one with the like that you go to the islands, like it's that one part with the one island is really weird. That's
Yeah, the
probably my
last
only
bit.
complaint with that sub area. But in terms of like the actual like getting the store like to the story moon and stuff, I absolutely love that you can just exit through the entrance door and then it'll also put you there. Because that took I did
Whoopsies.
not realize that for so long, and once I realized that, I was like, oh wait, that's good to know, I guess, for some things. It's fast for world peace, not for darker, because I think the moon is probably still
Oh yeah.
worth it in darker. But yeah, that's a fun sub area to do in darker too. It's not like too hard, like I can get it consistently, but it's very satisfying. Um,
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
my favorite. I was struggling to think of a sub area because I didn't make many sub areas. But in Luncheon, the Podoboo room, the one you get in any percent
Uh,
base game, that one kind of just got completely remade, which was
Red
done like way before I
Yeah.
even like figured out how to do anything
yeah,
custom.
that one looks cool. I don't
The
actually think
well.
I beat that yet, but I
Huh?
should do it.
The well.
The well?
You made.
Oh, the well. Yeah, I did make that. That's actually true. Yeah, the well's a fun place. The 2D well in Mushroom.
Yeah, that looks fun. I
Yeah.
haven't done like anything in Mushroom, but I have to still. That's pretty cool.
Oh, and the Super Tony World sub area in Metro, the theater. Shout
Oh, the
out.
theater.
Oh, I did that. That
The
was so weird. That was a funny. That was a funny one. That was fun.
That's what we make for each other in Mario Maker.
but somehow worse. It's
Yeah,
that plus 15 minutes of waiting while you go through pipe transitions. Hoorah!
it's good fun.
All right, next question. We're gonna go through these ones a bit quicker, I think. So briefly, why did you? This from Noah SMO. Why did you decide to start working on Kaizo Mode? Kind of touched on this earlier, but
Yeah, we
Did,
touched on it.
does anyone know? I don't know
I,
why we did.
we didn't really ever decide on starting it. I guess the turning point would be we had like a massive sheet that listed every single moon that RedSlay made. It listed every single moon, and then we had like color schemes for like done and play tested, only like made but not play tested, not made, crashes, whatever. I think when you made that was kind of the turning point, and that was
Yeah.
because at that point we were just having fun editing levels. Like it was just like still like, ah, look, we changed the game. It's cool. By the end, we hated it, but
Yeah.
when we started, it was quite fun. So we're like, we might as well see how far we can get through making this.
Yeah, that's another reason Derka was saved till the end, was because it just gets less and less fun to work on because every time you get to see a moon and go, that sucks, I'm not editing that. Eventually you have to edit that because it's the only one left. So we specifically were like, okay, Derka can stay to the end just so we can finish the mod with something reasonably enjoyable.
Have something to look forward to.
Yeah.
yeah. Anyway, next question from. Also, apologies to anyone that questions we don't get to. Got a lot of questions for this one, but from Besmaher, or however you say their name, 2 questions. First, what is your favorite kingdom? We'll make this Kaizo mode, but we'll exclude Dark and Darker. What's your guys' favorite kingdom that you change in Kaizo?
Luncheon.
I personally really like Seaside, which is a
Sand.
interesting answer. But
Sand?
I like Sand is fun. It's
Fair
a
enough.
fun place.
Sand
And it's
is
the only
pretty
kingdom
fun.
that was like a 50-50 split on like the overworld. Like most of it was
Oh,
one
like who made
person made the entire overworld, or like the other person. But Sand, Joycon did half of it, and then I did the other half of it,
Yeah,
which
Sand
was
is
weird
fun.
for the mod.
A lot of people were like, that was like one of the first games a lot of people were getting like all the moons in, and that was pretty fun to watch. Like a lot of people's playthroughs of that. Pretty cool. I remember watching Buster spend literally like an hour trying to find where the birds gather, and that was really funny.
Oh, what a great moon.
It's just
Lost in the
middle of
cauliflower
nowhere.
shout out as well.
My
Yeah,
goat.
that one's cool. And then his other question is, what moon? This isn't really Kaiser related, but what moon do you think will get proven next for min caps, max moons?
I don't know if I'm not gonna say that I don't think another one's gonna get proven. I do. That's just how gaming works. Like, you know,
Yeah.
sub hour is impossible. It's possible. So I'm not gonna say I don't think one will be proven, but there's not a clear logical next step. Everything that has been researched has had like a definitive stopping point. I will just kind of say Moon Cave chest, Forks Room, or Narrow Valley chest.
Yeah.
They're the ones that will be the next one, or Dark Side, I guess, if you really want to list everything.
Yeah. Narrow Valley chest, I could see. I don't really know what you would do, but that one.
Yeah, it's one of those things that I see, but not for a while.
Yeah. Next question from Dog. Who is the person in picture match in Kaizo mode? I'm actually curious.
Burt Miller.
Burt
Oh, okay.
Miller.
I knew it sounded. I knew he looked familiar, but I wasn't sure who it was.
What a beautiful man.
Great man.
That was funny because I didn't know what to do with picture match, so I just sent a DM to Burt Miller and just said, "Can you pose like Mario in picture match?" And I was trying to like get it so that you had to match the pieces to his face, but it ended up just working that I just stuck his face in the way to make it a bit more confusing.
Yeah, I somehow got that first try, I think. Which is crazy, but
Yeah, it took me a few tries.
weird.
You can kind of use it as a visual cue, but it's so weird at the start.
Yeah, it's cool. It's funny. I was like terrified of what picture match was gonna be, and then it's just that, and I was like, oh, okay, this is interesting. Anyway, next question from we have 2 more Kaizo mode related ones, and then a couple non-Kaizo mode. Next question from Untangible Discombobulates. Did you consider any other names for Kaizo mode?
Well, we struggled to name it.
We did struggle to name it.
Up until like not long before the first trailer, we just had a placeholder named Super Mario Odyssey. And then a bit before the trailer, we were thinking of Geometry Dash, my goat. And we thought, of course, the Grandpa Demon, Tidal Wave by Onilink. Great level. And we thought, why don't we call it Super Mario Odyssey Grandpa Mode in reference to that? But then we realized that actually this is Odyssey, not GD, and people probably don't understand that. So then, after an absolute war in the DMs, we came up with Super Mario Odyssey Kaizo Mode.
Yeah, and we came up with it, I think, the day we released Trailer 1 was the day we locked in the name.
I think Trailer 1 was literally waiting for us to give it a name to release it.
The only other one was Super Mario Odyssey Nightmare Edition. Another one I thought of, but I prefer Kaizo Mode. It's simple. It gets the message across.
Yeah.
Done.
Simple. Most people with gaming experience know what it means, so it's pretty easy to understand. And I think it works too for the first 880 moon, like Kaizo mode, and potentially.
Yeah, it says what it says on the biscuit tin of biscuits.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. And there was another question about Kaizo mode, but it was like about like the design philosophy and stuff. So we don't really need to do that because we already kind of covered that. Next question from Jimmy asks, what is the inspiration for your usernames? Joy-Con expressed hatred, obviously, for Joy-Cons earlier. So it's a very important question, and I'm sure a lot of fans are wondering.
Yeah, mine is really random because I had a username that just completely doxed my last name and was just terrible. And I was like, you know what? I need to change it, but I had no creativity. And I was making a Twitch account, and I really wanted to watch Fur because he was back when he was running any percent, like in 2017, and I was like, I really want to watch this guy. And I heard him say, I play SMO with Joy-Cons, and I went, bang, lock it in,
Just put the
basically.
sentence in a username. Yeah.
Yeah, I did used to play on handheld as well, so like I was using Joy-Cons at the time.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's not very creative, I can't lie, but it gets the job done.
Yeah, like before I like knew who you were, I literally thought you were like 12 just because of your username.
Yeah, it was a 12-year-old username.
Yeah. And then I was like, oh wait, you're older than me. That's shocking.
Yeah.
What about you, RedSlay?
My username's got like a whole like story behind it. So me and my IRLs were playing Minecraft, and one of my IRLs made his account Emerald Slayer 6 or something. And I was like, okay, that's cool. And then another friend became like Diamond Slayer, and then I was Gold Slayer. We were like 9, by the way. And then I was like, okay, that's cool. And then I liked Redstone in Minecraft, so I was like, you know what, Redstone Slayer. So that was what it was. And then on Roblox of all places, that name was taken. So I was like, let's shorten it down a bit. And bam, I had RedSlay99. And then at some point I got rid of one of the extra 9s. So boom, RedSlay9 lore has dropped.
Boom.
Crazy story. I feel like I just learned so much about you. It's crazy. And next question from DJ Salad. Pretty straightforward question. Although I'm sure none of us have the exact answer, obviously. How many hours do you have in SMO? I'm sure you've never heard this one before from anyone.
See, I think I overstated it for a while. I've said like 4,000 for like the last 3 years. It'll be somewhere. I reckon it's like above 4,000 now because I always used to over-exaggerate. But yeah, around that 4K mark, especially if you include time making Kaizo mode.
Yeah.
Now, I'm not sure. I've been playing the game a while. I've probably got about like 700 hours ish.
There is no way you only have 700.
700?
No, I mean, I haven't played the game much in the last year.
Yeah, but that means that 1/14 of your time has been spent doing TCO.
Yeah, I mean, it was a long grind.
Fair enough.
1/14?
That is a lot smaller than I thought.
Yeah, 700
Yeah.
is so little. What? That's
Very
crazy.
little.
I'm gonna need tab checking on this in the future.
He does. You do pick stuff up very quickly, though. To be fair,
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
good practice habits and stuff. So I can see it being possible, but that's still crazy.
Yeah, I'm on the other end. I'm at 7,000, and you're probably better at the
Jeez,
game
yeah.
than me. So
Oh, damn.
that's awesome.
I mean, better at the game is always weird. Like people are good at different things, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like if we did an any
different
percent
skill
race right
sets,
now,
kind
you'd
of.
kick my ass. If we
Yeah,
tried to see who could get
maybe.
further through Darker Side Kaizo Golden, I would probably win. Like it just people are good at different things. So
Yeah. It's been
like,
kind of cool
I'd
though.
win the
Like,
100 IP skips race.
yeah, it's been kind of cool.
Yeah.
I've first tried 3, or I guess, well, Perseverance doesn't really count. But I've first tried 3 different Kaizo Darker sections just in runs, which I think is really
Nice.
cool. I haven't gotten any of the moons yet, but I first tried Remember, I first tried Dormant, and I first tried Collapse, just each in runs. Although I guess
Dormant is
Collapse is
crazy.
part of a different
That's
one.
cool. Wait, don't man. Holy.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Dormant
I
is
think it got like
insane.
a 244 or something, but it had some time saved still. But yeah, it was pretty cool. Yeah, now I gotta do all of the work that I've already done again to get the moons eventually, so that's gonna be fun.
Yippee.
But yeah, anyway, final question from House Lover 64. What is something you'd like to see in SMO2 if it happens? There's a lot of things, obviously. I'll go.
Golden
first.
turnip recipe 4.
That's what everyone wants. Yeah, that's definitely like top of everyone's list for
Yeah.
most desired features.
I'm not too
I'll
bothered
go
about
with like
anything else.
I'll go with like a unique answer, and I'll say like KFR Return, and I want it to be like each like 2 moons for each kingdom, but the second moon I want to be like a different race, like different start point or a different end point, or a different start and end point instead of an extra Koopa. I feel like that'd be cool.
Yeah.
Just have more variety of KFR things to grind.
More games like Bound Ball.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Talking about more different games, I would love like a snake charming mini game, like a little, one of them. I think that could be. I think that could be gas because I don't. Little known fact about me, I love snake charmers. Like I once went to India, and like I was just chilling with this dude for like 30 minutes. So if they put that in Odyssey, that'd be gas.
That would be pretty sick. Yeah. Interesting answers. We got Golden Turnip 4, Snake Charmers in Odyssey, and a random thing about KFR. I like the uniqueness, you know?
This is never really going to be anything... Like, I just want the kind of design to set up in a way that movement can be used well, right? Like,
yeah.
I love Odyssey because the way they've put this massive pumpkin in Luncheon Kingdom. Like, obviously stuff like different KFRs would obviously be really cool, but I just kind of want it to be something that you can just use the movement. That's all that I think Odyssey ever really needed.
Yeah, Odyssey. We could do it more like fingers, you know? Like,
Fingers.
like in Cascade.
Oh, the fingers.
Like those, yeah. Like, we need more of those.
The rib cage?
Yeah, more. Like, and like in Luncheon.
Yeah, we do need more fingers in Odyssey. It'd be fun. We should start calling that jump finger jump in 90%. That'd be funny. But yeah, I think that's going to conclude fan questions. Thank you guys for joining the episode. I don't know
Thank you for having
why
us.
I didn't consider you guys as guests when I was writing an entire list of people with guests when I was playing your modathon, because seemed like an obvious choice once you like messaged me, and I was like, oh shit, why didn't I do that yet? But yeah, this episode will be coming out on Odyssey's birthday, by the way. I forgot to say that.
Happy birthday,
Mario Odyssey. 7 years, crazy. And for anyone watching
that's
this
older
episode,
than Gorgonim.
For anyone watching this episode that didn't see earlier today, on the 27th, Celebration Task number 1 was revealed. It's the first task of Celebration Tasks, which you can watch the trailer for. It's pretty cool. It's gonna be a fun series.
So gassed.
Can I say one thing?
Yeah.
Game Nerd, I nominate you for the ALS Ice Bucket Challenge.
Alright, sounds good. Also, I will say one final critique about Kaizo Mode. I think it would have been better for the Game Nerd question from the Sphinx if you just made it one of the other options. That was the preference.
That was originally supposed to be Chaos Pringle, but I didn't know how Chaos Pringle would feel about that. So we changed it to Game Nerd because he's one of our homies.
We know Game Nerd.
Yeah. But yeah, before we end the episode, gonna announce the season finale guests, which is going to be, and this might be a bad idea because this could be the most chaotic episode ever. Anto and Vrock and Jack. It's gonna be a good one. We're gonna talk about the origins of Water Roll, their big hit from Summer Pace 2024, and everything else, especially like Anto's content creation and all that. I don't know how putting both of them together will work in this setting, but hopefully it's not a catastrophe. I think
be like a car that needs fuel and get gassed, because that's gonna be fire.
Yeah, that's gonna be really. That is gonna be fire. But yeah, thanks everyone for watching. Make sure to watch the Pace Run, November 8th, 8 o'clock a.m. Eastern Time. Laurel, Maryland, if you want to go in person, feel free to. Need more people in the crowd, you know.
Everyone put your whole wallets into it. We need to see Darker live.
Yeah, and
if everyone who watches this podcast donates $1, we'll be 1 times the amount of people who watch the podcast closer to getting the goal.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying, dude. We just need like $1 from everyone, and then we got there. We can get there. But yeah, thank you everyone for watching. See you guys in the next episode. And yeah, bye. Happy birthday, Odyssey.